DMV. This is DC News Now.
Ahead on DC News Now at 9, the death toll continues to rise as wildfires rip through parts of Hawaii. But we're learning about efforts to help those impacted and how Hawaiians here in the DMV are reacting tonight.
I mean, you're just kind of sitting in idle going, when am I going to hear from someone next?
And mystery surrounding the circumstances of a missing Maryland teacher nearly 2 weeks after she disappears tonight. What the woman's family has to say as police give an update on the search.
And dog flu is spreading at a DC animal shelter. Should local pet owners be concerned? Our Daniel Hamburg is live with the symptoms you need to look out for.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Thasmeen Mahfouz.
And I'm Annalisa Gale filling in for Chris Flanagan. Just in tonight, the death toll in Hawaii is expected to rise in the coming days as a result of the wildfires in Lahaina. Right now, we know at least 53 people have been killed.
Yeah, and officials predict that this will be the state's deadliest natural disaster in 6 decades. A dry summer and strong winds from a passing hurricane believed to be fueling the flames. Some people reportedly jumped in the ocean to escape. Evacuees at the airport described what they saw.
All we could see was sort of the smoke and the horizon. That kind of burned all night until yesterday morning.
Right now, our Marielle Carbone is joining us in the studio with more.
Yeah, and Marielle, you spoke to a woman who actually lived in Hawaii. What is she saying tonight?
Well, she's saying she just feels helpless. She hasn't slept much in the last 2 days because she's constantly checking alerts coming out of Maui and checking on her friends. One lost her entire home in minutes. Others she's still been unable to get in contact with. She tells me the sights and the scenes from the island are just devastating.
I have never, ever seen anything catastrophic like this. It looks like the apocalypse over there.
Jamie McDaniel grew up on Oahu, traveling often to neighboring islands like Hawaii and Maui.
To experience it is just gorgeous.
So to watch it all burn nearly 5,000 miles away in her Virginia home.
I mean, you're just kind of sitting in idle going, when am I going to hear from someone next?
According to Maui County officials, 3 active wildfires still burn on the island. Video shows plumes of thick black smoke. Images show burnout cars and charred boats.
They've lost everything in a matter of minutes. And it's not just one person. It's communities. This is thousands and thousands of people.
The National Guard is assisting.
Lahaina is still getting evacuated.
World Central Kitchen is on the ground feeding survivors and first responders.
Got a bunch of sandwiches right now, actually, that we're going to be heading out to the front lines.
And President Biden approved a national disaster declaration.
But seeing it right now is a grieving process.
Still, McDaniel wants to see more. An all-hands-on-deck approach to rebuilding a place so close to her heart.
For this, I'm hoping that the whole community and everyone together will jump in and just look at priorities. I hope the government just releases money to say, you know what, we got to do what we got to do.
And McDaniel says there is one positive thing coming out of Maui. She says the culture there is like no other. Everyone is considered family. People look out for their elders and for each other. And she says that sense of community, the culture will be vital in rebuilding. In the studio, Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
Marielle, thank you. And like Marielle just reported, President Joe Biden has issued a federal disaster declaration for Maui. The move frees up federal aid to support the island's response and recovery. The president is promising immediate help for anyone who's been impacted.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately. Our prayers with the people of Hawaii, but not just our prayers. Every asset we have will be available to them.
And a look tonight at Maui's main airport. Long lines of tourists being asked to evacuate to help people get off the island. Some airlines are accommodating. Hawaiian Airlines is offering $19 flights out of Maui through Monday. And Southwest is adding more flights to and from the island.
Well, if you're looking for ways to donate, the Hawaii Community Foundation has launched the Maui Strong Fund. World Central Kitchen is also collecting money to help provide meals, and the Red Cross is also accepting donations for its disaster relief efforts. Well, closer to home, people living in D.C.'s Brookland neighborhood walk side by side with city leaders tonight. It's part of an effort by D.C. Acting Police Chief Pamela Smith to address rising crime with police in the community. D.C. Council members Zachary Parker hosted tonight's walk with MPD officers in attendance. It comes on the heels of several deadly attacks in that area, including a teacher visiting D.C. from Kentucky who was shot and killed on Catholic University's campus a month ago.
Meanwhile, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is awarding almost $500,000 in grant money to community programs focused on preventing gun violence. $450,000 will go to 62 nonprofits and individuals committed to taking an active role in the fight against gun violence. Now, this money comes from the Building Blocks DC program. Another round of funding will be available in the fall.
All right, turning back outside, we had some rain earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Janessa Webb. Janessa, that rain has finally moved out.
Yeah, finally moved out, and some partial clearing that's unfolding across the DMV. Enjoy this. I am noticing a trend for tomorrow of increasing clouds. What I can tell you about tomorrow afternoon, less humidity that's going to be in the forecast before it really spikes up as we go into your start of your weekend here. Satellite composite radar, you had that warm front, cold front swept through as well. And so that sparked up a little bit of instability. Things are quiet right now. Temperatures 79 for the suburbs of D.C. The farther you go to the Shenandoah Valley, 72 for Luray. Kaiser into Cumberland, good evening, 73. And back into areas of Fairfax County, Leesburg as well. It is a little bit warmer, but you know, humidity levels, they are up there as well. So you can see all the moisture at this point, upper 60s to lower 70s. This is going to track a little bit downward for tomorrow. So feel like temperatures around 91. The difference is that tomorrow evening, this starts to rise once again. So you're still going to see a very hot day for your Friday, but humidity levels are not going to be on that oppressive end. So just take a note of that. We should be nice and dry. Evening planner, partly cloudy, but around 4 or 5 a.m., you'll start to notice a few clouds that are lingering in. To start off your morning, we're going to say mostly sunny, but then increasing clouds for your Friday. We are tracking a few storms for your weekend. We'll look at that coming up.
All right, thanks, Janessa. Well, all new tonight, Virginia's top prosecutor has introduced a motion to unseal an independent review of how Loudoun County Public Schools handled 2 sexual assault cases. Earlier this year, the school board voted to keep the report under wraps. If Attorney General Jason Miyares' request is granted, the review will be made public.
And happening now, the search for a missing Greenbelt, Maryland teacher continues. Nearly 2 weeks after her disappearance, Miriam Torresilo was last seen on Lake Park Drive the night of July 29th. Her family says she never returned home from her evening walk, and today, Greenbelt police held a press conference saying they're still actively searching, and they're urging the community to come forward, saying someone out there knows something. And coming up at 9:30 tonight, our Leonard N. Fleming is talking with Scylla's sister as she grows desperate for answers.
Well, Northern Virginia is struggling with a problem it has mostly avoided in recent years, but now with COVID-era eviction prevention policies over and rent rising, the region is right back to where it was in 2019. Northern Virginia Bureau reporter Max Marcilla joining us live from Fairfax County now. And Max, how is the economy playing into this conversation?
Well, it is, especially in this part of Northern Virginia, because across the Commonwealth, the eviction filing rate is actually a little lower than where it was before the pandemic. That's not the case here in our area, and people are pointing their fingers at rising rent, partially due to inflation, as among the biggest reasons for that. To find an apartment in Northern Virginia, it's going to cost you, compared to pre-pandemic,
upwards of 10 to 20%. Increase in rent.
Adam Chapnick is a research specialist with Princeton University's Eviction Lab.
Increases in rent have definitely been making it much harder for tenants to stay in their homes.
That's confirmed through the data. The number of eviction filings have increased by about 13% in Arlington County and about 3% in Fairfax County compared to the first quarter of 2019. That's according to the Northern Virginia Affordable Housing Alliance. And while certain areas have yet to return to the before COVID levels of eviction, the region as a whole has.
We have to hear these stories daily from our community members, which they tend to be, the working class families families, immigrant families.
Ingrid Moran is an organizer with Tenants and Workers United based in Alexandria.
We're seeing a lot of increases, up to 15% of increased rent. And where will that money come from if the wages haven't increased yearly?
Carlos Rubio is one of many Northern Virginians preparing for a rent hike. Now he wonders what he and his roommate can do to avoid becoming among the thousands facing eviction.
Viviendo tanto tiempo en la comunidad.
He tells us he's debating whether he will move out of the only home he has known to try and find somewhere more affordable. And when it comes to solutions, the advocates we spoke with says it's all about housing, making sure that there is enough housing, enough affordable housing, specifically for those lower income workers and their families. Reporting live in Fairfax County, Max Marcella, DC News Now.